Welcome to History Uncovered, where we delve into the stories and events that have shaped our world. In this episode, we're going to explore the story of Spartacus, a gladiator and leader of a slave rebellion against the Roman Empire. Spartacus was born around 111 BC in Thrace, a region located in the Balkans. He was captured by the Romans and sold into slavery, where he was trained as a gladiator. He was one of thousands of slaves who were forced to fight to the death for the entertainment of the Roman people. Despite the brutal conditions, Spartacus proved to be an exceptional fighter and became known for his skill and courage in the arena. However, in 73 BC, Spartacus and several other gladiators managed to escape from their captivity and fled to the nearby countryside. There, they were joined by other slaves who were also seeking their freedom. Over time, their numbers grew, and they began to organize themselves into a formidable force. Spartacus emerged as the leader of the group, and he quickly proved himself to be a skilled strategist and tactician. Under his leadership, the rebels launched a series of successful attacks against the Romans, raiding their supply lines and freeing other slaves who joined their cause. They also managed to defeat several Roman armies that were sent to quell the rebellion. The rebellion soon spread throughout southern Italy, and the Roman Senate began to take notice. They sent a powerful army led by Marcus Licinius Crassus to crush the rebellion. The two armies met in a battle that lasted for 2 days, and despite putting up a fierce fight, Spartacus and his army were defeated. Spartacus managed to escape, but he was later captured and executed by the Romans. His body was never found, but his legacy lived on. The story of Spartacus became a symbol of resistance against oppression and slavery. One of Spartacus' most significant victories during the slave rebellion was the Battle of Mount Vesuvius in 73 BC. Spartacus and his army of rebels had fled to the mountains to escape the Roman armies that were pursuing them. The Romans thought they had the rebels cornered and decided to attack them on the slopes of Mount Vesuvius. However, Spartacus and his men had other plans. They tricked the Romans into attacking a small detachment of their forces, then ambushed them from behind. The rebels managed to rout the Roman army and capture their weapons and supplies, giving them a much-needed boost in their fight for freedom. The Battle of Mount Vesuvius was a turning point in the rebellion, and it showed that Spartacus and his army were a force to be reckoned with. Another important battle during the slave rebellion led by Spartacus was the Battle of Picenum in 72 BC. After the Battle of Mount Vesuvius, Spartacus and his army had marched northward pillaging and looting as they went. The Roman army, led by the consul Gellius Publicola, intercepted them in the region of Picenum. The two armies clashed, and the fighting was intense. The rebels were initially pushed back by the Roman army, but then Spartacus himself entered the fray. He rallied his men and led a charge that broke the Roman lines, sending the army into retreat. The victory at Picenum was significant because it showed that Spartacus and his army could defeat the Roman army in open battle. It also helped to bolster the morale of the rebels and inspired other slaves to join the rebellion. The Battle of Picenum was another critical moment in the slave rebellion and demonstrated Spartacus' skill as a military commander. Another important battle during the slave rebellion led by Spartacus was the Battle of the Siler River in 71 BC. By this point in the rebellion, Spartacus had amassed an army of over 50,000 men and had been successful in a series of raids and skirmishes against the Roman army. However, he knew that if he was going to achieve his ultimate goal of liberating all of the slaves in Italy, he needed to win a decisive battle against the Roman army. The Battle of the Siler River was that battle. The Roman army, led by Marcus Licinius Crassus, had a force of approximately 50,000 soldiers. Despite being outnumbered, Spartacus and his army managed to hold their ground and inflict heavy losses on the Roman army. In the end, however, the Romans managed to regroup and defeat the rebel army. Although many of his men were killed in the battle, their sacrifice inspired others to continue the fight for freedom. The Battle of the Siler River was a significant event in the slave rebellion and is remembered as one of the most critical battles of the ancient world. But who was Spartacus, and what motivated him to fight for his freedom and that of his fellow slaves? Some historians believe that Spartacus was a former soldier who was captured by the Romans during one of their campaigns. Others argue that he was a Thracian nobleman who was betrayed by his own people and sold into slavery. Regardless of his origins, Spartacus became a legendary figure who inspired countless others to fight for their freedom. His story has been retold in literature, film, and television, including the famous 1960 film Spartacus starring Kirk Douglas. Spartacus and his rebellion have also had a significant impact on the way we view slavery and freedom. Before his rebellion, the Romans saw slavery as a normal part of society. But after the rebellion, the idea of slaves rising up against their masters became a real possibility, and the Roman Empire began to take measures to prevent future uprisings. The story of Spartacus is not just about one man's struggle for freedom. It's also a story of perseverance, courage, and the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. It's a story that reminds us of the importance of fighting for what we believe in, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. The legacy of Spartacus and his rebellion continued long after his death. His story became a symbol of hope and inspiration for slaves and oppressed peoples throughout history. It inspired other slave uprisings, such as the Haitian Revolution and the American Civil War. It also had an impact on the abolitionist movement, which sought to end slavery around the world. The story of Spartacus also had a lasting impact on the way we view gladiatorial games. Before Spartacus, gladiatorial games were seen as a way to entertain the masses and maintain social order. But after Spartacus, the public began to see the games in a different light. They were no longer just a spectacle for entertainment, but a symbol of the brutality and inhumanity of the Roman Empire. In conclusion, the story of Spartacus is a powerful reminder of the human spirit's ability to overcome adversity and fight for freedom. It's a story that has inspired countless people throughout history and continues to do so today. Spartacus was not just a gladiator or a rebel leader, he was a symbol of hope, a champion of freedom, and a hero to all those who have ever fought for their rights and their dignity. Thank you for watching this episode of History Uncovered. If you found this video informative and engaging, please like and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories from the past. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications so that you never miss a new video. Until next time, keep exploring the stories that have shaped our world.